This is a wild time. I'm a born and raised Metro Detroiter. I've lived around the country, but I've spent a lot of my life here. The Detroit Lions are getting so much hype right now. Have you heard about it? I know you have. The Lions are the darling. They're the darling of the preseason coming into 2023. There is legitimate hype on them making a Super Bowl run. That is bonkers. This is one of the most bozo-fest organizations that ever existed. One of the most doofus-filled franchises that ever graced an NFL field in all of professional sports, really. I mean, go back to 1989, okay? In 1989, Wayne Fontes took over. Remember him? He was a lot of fun. He was a player's coach. Went to a few playoffs. That's cool. But in 89, the Lions won 6 of their final 7 games. And there was a lot of hype going into 1990. They finished 7-9 in 89. And everybody thought, 90, they're going to make a push. They got Barry Sanders. This guy's awesome. He's a legend. Went 6-10 in 1990. Didn't work out. Some people try to argue that, well, in 91, the following year, they went to the NFC title game. They even beat the Cowboys' ass 38-6 in the divisional round. Okay. I don't know if there's a connection there or not, but after that, it was a series of up and down misfortunes, wild card losses, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Fontes gets fired. Bobby Ross takes over. Won't abandon ship. Then it doesn't work out with him. Charlie Batch isn't good enough. And then we move to 2000 after Barry Sanders leaves completely out of the blue, doesn't want to face the media or anybody because the Lions are so awful that he's so ashamed and doesn't even know how to explain how awful the experience is. And that gives way to 2000. And Gary Muller's an interim coach, and there's a game against the Chicago Bears. Final game of the season. Lions win, and they're in the playoffs. Well, Paul Ettinger of Michigan State Spartan, by the way, kicks a 54-yard field goal, beats the Lions, eliminates them from the playoffs, even though the Bears had nothing to play for. From there, you got the Matt Millen Nightmare, Steve Mariucci, Rod Marinelli. You got Megatron showing up, a god among men. And, of course, the winless season, bottoming out in 08. It gives way to Matthew Stafford and Megatron. They go to a playoff game against the Saints. That doesn't work out. They get smoked. Eventually, Jim Schwartz doesn't know how to use the challenge system, gets fired, gives way to Jim Caldwell, an excellent coach who gets screwed in that Dallas playoff game, is awful. And then Caldwell gets hung out to dry and fired to give way to Matt Patricia, one of the biggest dipshits that ever coached in NFL history. So we're supposed to trust this organization? I'm supposed to have confidence that the future's bright? I don't know, man.